Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue our Hashtag United series. Episode 7 already. They have flown by thus far. Hope you guys are really enjoying them so far. Thank you for everyone who's given their support, their feedback, whatever else, be it on YouTube, in the comment section below, or through Twitter, or something else like that. It does mean a tremendous amount to me, and the support so far has been fantastic. We're growing quicker and quicker and more each day. We're getting more and more views on each video as it comes out, and it's just really great to see. Now, you may wonder, why am I dressed like a pallbearer or someone out of Reservoir Dogs? It is a massive episode for us today. We have our first ever Cup final. If you haven't been watching the last few episodes, we've gone on this tremendous Eastern Counties League Cup run. We've gotten past teams in our division, we've gotten past teams in higher divisions, and we have one more test ahead of us. Galston at a neutral venue. It will be the second game we play today. I've preemptively put on the suit just to get the players used to it. I don't want them to be shocked or surprised. We have a massive game today against White Ensign, currently 5th in the division. If we have a look at our most recent results since that last episode where we played Thetford Town and won on penalties in the semi-final and then beat Holland 2-0 with a pretty convincing victory away from home. We had a 1-1 draw with Coggles United. I was panicking a little bit for this one. They went a goal ahead through Damien Patterson in the 68th minute. Tashi Richmond, as he so often has throughout the course of this season, dragged us back into the game. We did push on and nearly got an equaliser, nearly got a winner, but 1-1 draw was probably a fair result given the way that they played and the way they set up against us. We then played Warmley Rovers, won 2-0 away from home. Ryan Adams and Charlie Morley getting amongst the goals there. Played Wivenhoe Town, who at the time were in second position. We have played them 3 times now and beaten them all 3 times. Harry Honesty with a double in that one, 43rd and 45th minute. Charlie Morley with a fantastic game as well, got both assists for those goals. We got tested a little bit by Newbury Forest, a 2-1 win. Harry Honesty in the 41st minute, Charlie Morley in an injury time of the first half. Lawrence Watkins pulled one back for them to make it a bit of a nervy finish, but we were the better side. There weren't any really massive dramas or anything like that. And then our most recent fixture against Benfleet, we won 3-1. You can see here it was 1-1 for a very long time. We did go a goal up in the opening 10 minutes through Dan Brown. Brenton Keane pulled one back relatively quickly. They got in behind more times than any other game that I think we've played so far this season. And this is perhaps the game where I actually thought we might lose. They had a fantastic opportunity at 1-1 late in the game. Andy Cade Watts pulled out a phenomenal diving save to his left-hand side to keep it out, and it got scrambled away. And then we kind of adjusted our mentality a little bit. Dan Brown got a goal to put us 2-1 up in the 84th minute, and Ryan Adams, as they were chasing for an equaliser, scored a pretty clinical counter-attack with an assist from Dan Brown, who is probably in his best patch of form I think he's had all throughout this season, which is great timing for us. But it means we are currently still on top, still undefeated in the league season. We were knocked out of the FA Vase. 21 played, 18 wins, 3 draws, plus 43 goal difference. We're scoring at least more than 2 goals a game on our opposition. 17 points clear at this stage of the season. Absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to get to like a 30-point buffer by the time the end of the season comes. But we need to get past White Ensign first. We can't take him too lightly. It is only 4 days before our Cup final as well, which is massive. So we are going to rotate just a little bit for this game. Alright, so looking at the team that we're going to go with, there are a couple of players that we've left out. Andy Cade Watts, of course, in goal, hidden behind my head. Ross Gleed will play left back. Kane Brogan will play at right full back. Harrison and Stamp as the central defensive partnership. Ricky Evans and Hersett, as they always are, ahead of them. Ryan Adams will come in at the 10 for Tashi and Richmond. Theo Baker will play on the left wing. You can see here, he's got a really high match rating. Most of the games he's performed in, he's scored in, despite only being a 2-star player at present. Charlie Morley on the right and Dan Brown up top. For White Ensign, they've got Flinders in goal, Judd and Wilkinson as the fullbacks, Nixon and Hooper as the central defensive partnership. Powell and Austin in central midfield, Maxted on the left wing, Woods on the right, Whiteman and Seaton up top. We have struggled, well not struggled because we've won every game in the league thus far, but 4-4-2 seems to be a better match for us than a lot of the 4-3-3s that we've come up against throughout the course of this season. So we'll have to see how we go here, but as we can see here, recent form standings have White Ensign in 12th place, or we're first. Let's show them why. And it'd be great to get a really positive performance out of the team. I think we're currently set to our cautious mentality, which is probably the one that we're going to use in the final. Given that we are playing at home and that there's probably scouts watching us from Galston, we're going to use our attacking instructions to start with and try and turn it on a little bit at home here. Coles Park Stadium, it has been a fantastic fortress for us so far this season. We haven't really dropped many points there at all. Alright, first highlight here, Evans to take a deep free kick towards Lee Hersett, who gets it one away, and I think it hits the post before it's hooked away by Maxted. So decent result there. It looks like Ricky Evans will take most of the free kicks with Tom Williams getting rested for this game. Goal kick forward now from Flinders. Powell actually does well to bring the ball down. Plays it out to Woods on the right-hand side into Seaton. Back to Woods again, forward to Powell. Nice little interplay here from the wide-end side players. They go back, but it's going to be cut out by Theo Baker. He plays Ricky Evans, who looks forward for Adams. Forward to Dan Brown now. Just needs to hold the ball up and does to Theo Baker. Adams with a crossfield switch towards Charlie Morley. Can he get his strike away? He cuts it back for Dan Brown. That is fantastic composure and picking out a pass from Charlie Morley. His 12th goal of the season. And checking out the three-dimensional replay here. This is a great ball from Ryan Adams. Just in behind the fullback on the far side. Charlie Morley brings it down, and rather than getting dragged into a shot or anything like that, he cuts it back to the penalty spot. Dan Brown's arriving in time and puts that one into the far side of the goal. No chance the keeper was going to get to that one. All right, 30 minutes gone now without too much more happening. I did forget to mention we had a 2-month injury to Jamie Jackson during training. He's 40 years old. He's had a 2-month injury now. I'm not 100% sure we're going to be able to sign him again on a further contract. It is up on at the end of this season. I've been suggesting to him to be a coach, so hopefully he'll hang around. Dan Brown with the ball forward. It's going to come back straight out to him again, headed away pretty easily by the white ensign defence. Marcus Stamp with a lovely crossfield switch towards Lee Hersett. Plays Evans inside, now to Gleed. We've got a 3v2 here on the left-hand side if we can work it the right way. Instead, Hersett switches out to the right-hand side. Cade Brougham's coughed the ball up to Maxted. Played forward to Whiteman. Hopefully there's an counter-attack on here. Maxted, ball's won back by Adams, but Maxted wins it again. Whiteman, crossfield switch towards Woods. Played forward to Powell, who takes a good first touch and a decent strike at goal. The 16th goal of the season for Mark Powell. An assist by Chinedu Woods. And it's not a bad little touch, turn and finish, to be fair to him. It's hard to tell when you're in two dimensions. We'll see a little bit more from the 3D replay here. Good touch forward, good touch around the player there, and it's a decent strike. Maybe Andy Cade-Watts could have done better with that one, but he's been pretty fantastic for us last season, and as we spoke about, he saved our bacon a couple of times in that Benfleet game. But White Ensign are straight back in this. Maybe we need to change our mentality a little bit. We'll look at doing that at half-time. But for now, let's just use a shout and demand more and see if that gets some sort of response out of the hashtag United players. I thought getting an early goal would be really good for us. It kind of settled a few of my nerves. Maybe not necessarily the players. They always seem pretty composed and ready to go in this division. But certainly for my benefit, it helped quite a bit just getting that early goal. They've all responded well to the shout used, focused after that. Demand more just seems to work really well. There's a highlight relatively quickly. It's played forward. Whiteman gets the ball first. He's released Powell, the goal scorer, inside. And thankfully, I think it's Lee Hersett made a phenomenal recovery run there and got the block in from the shot. Gleed now with the throw-in on the left-hand side. Played towards Baker. The referee doesn't blow his whistle. I think a couple of our players stopped expecting the foul. Charlie Morley's won it back. Lee Hersett then coughs the ball up for Seddon. Out to Woods, who got the first assist on the right-hand side. Ricky Evans with a phenomenal challenge. Played forward now to Baker, inside to Adams. Do we have a counter-attack coming here? Ball's with Dan Brown on the left-hand side. We've got players around him. Instead, he strikes from distance when it probably wasn't on. He's a very, very good poacher, but outside the box, he's just not really going to score. Think of like a Ruud van Nistelrooy type player. They've got Wilkinson and the goal scorer Powell on yellow cards. We are yet to have one. That's actually something I've been really surprised with. It probably has to do with our deep defensive line and our sort of lower lines of engagement. We don't pick up a tremendous amount of yellow cards. We have the fewest in the division, which is really interesting. 2 minutes to be added on. We are at the end of that now. And I think the referee's about to call for half-time. We're just going to calmly say, far from pleased with what we've just seen. We should be winning this match. We should be winning against most of the teams in this division if our club reputation is anything to go by. So let's just make an adjustment here. Let's revert to our positive tactic. I don't think we need to be cautious just yet. I think White Ensign would be happy with the draw. But maybe if we go a goal up, we will look at switching our mentality a little bit as they chase for an equaliser. Evans now with a free kick from distance. He gets it away. Keeper can only push it, but unfortunately we just weren't on our toes there and didn't get to the rebound in time before White Ensign cleared. We'll give it to the hour mark and then we'll have a look at a couple of subs that we might make. Flinders now with the ball forward. We'll see this highlight play out and then we might have a look at some subs of our own. Stamp goes all the way back to Cade-Watts in goal. What can the captain do from here? It's a long one forward towards Dan Brown, who did alright to bring it down. Harrison cuts out the clearance. It's a long ball forward towards Ryan Adams, and Ryan Adams, I think there was just miscommunication there between the White Ensign central defender and the goalkeeper. The central defender didn't track the runner. It's just a straight lumped ball forward by, I think, Jack Harrison it was. I know it was Evans in the end. It's a hooked ball over the top, and the keeper probably should have come out, but Ryan Adams will take that for his 9th goal of the season. And it puts us a goal up. So what we might do is pause. Let's jump into our tactics here. They've used all 3 of their subs, which is interesting to note. Looks like Kane Brougham isn't having the best game. We're going to bring on Jamel Akeem for him. Move Charlie Morley out to the left wing for Theo Baker. And we might take off Theo Baker and bring on Tashan Richmond. And then with one eye on the game at the weekend, we're going to take off Lee Hersett, who's played quite a bit of football, to be fair to him, and bring on Tekka's Guru for the last half an hour. Team talk, I have faith in you, get out there and make a difference. Everyone's responded pretty positively to that. And we're also going to switch from our positive mentality to our cautious one. It's rare that you see me use 3 different mentalities throughout the course of a game, but it's just decent good game management in this situation. They're probably going to try and push a little bit more for an equalising goal, and hopefully we can just sit back and get them on the counter with a couple of fresh legs coming on. Alright, last 15 minutes, so we'll just use the shout demanding more. Everyone's responded pretty positively to that one. And we haven't seen any further highlights from White Ensign other than their goal. So hopefully we can just get through this last 10 minutes. Though Flinders is taking a goal kick now. Good header by Austin, but it only finds Ryan Adams coming out on our right-hand side. Moves forward and then strikes from distance when perhaps he could have looked to play a ball through for Dan Brown. Alright, Wilkinson to take a free kick about 40 yards out. And played forward to Heslop. Ball inside is cleaned up well by Ricky Evans, but his clearance is only as far as Whiteman. Whiteman plays it out to Maxted on the left-hand side. It's a deep ball across, and thankfully Andy Cade Watts comes out well and claims. Even though we have been the better side, it's still only 1 goal margin. Cade Watts with a long ball forward towards Tashan Richmond. It's headed back, but only as far as Ross Gleed. Plays a ball over the top towards Dan Brown, who's gotten off the shoulder, and that is a fantastic finish from Dan Brown. His 13th of the season. A lovely weighted pass there from Ross Gleed over the top. And his off-the-ball movement, Dan Brown, is absolutely fantastic. He's not the most athletic player we have. Ross Gleed on his wrong foot, his right foot, hooks that one over. And despite having 3 defenders around him and a goalkeeper with pretty decent angles, Brown on his left peg, his unfavoured left peg, puts that one into the far netting. And that pretty much should stitch up the victory for us today. Would see us go 20 points clear at the top of the table, which is absolutely phenomenal for our first season. All right, we're in probably the last 30 seconds of the match here and extra time. Ball's gone out for a throw-in. I dare say by the time White Ensign takes it, and there we go. I didn't even finish the sentence and the referee called full time. A good performance given that we were 1-1 at half time. Just took our game to another level in the second half, which is great to see. And it makes me think maybe we should stick with our positive mentality for this game coming up in the cup final. It's gotten us this far. Very happy with the result and the way that you played, and everyone's responded really positively to that. Keen-eyed people amongst us may have noticed that there was a new name on the bench there, Danny West. He's not a new player or signing. He's a greyed out player because of Jamie Jackson's injury. So we still haven't signed any new players at this stage. Assertively for Dan Brown, superb in front of goal last time out. Now, of course, magic of editing, we are going to jump ahead to our cup final match against Galston. Our first opportunity at silverware. It's the reason I'm wearing the suit. I've been so excited to get this game played all week, and now we're finally getting to do it. Alright, so here we go. I am a wreck. It is a warm day in Melbourne, but I've got those pit sweats going more for my nerves than anything else. You can see here, despite playing a division lower than Galston, we are favourites for this game. It's a neutral venue, so we aren't actually the home team. We'll be wearing our away kit, and I'm not sure if this is their home or away kit themselves. We have excellent recent form, 5 wins from our last 5 games. They've been inconsistent. We are, of course, without Jamie Jackson, and they are without Joe Bennett, who is suspended for this game. Interestingly enough, we are the highest scorers in this competition with 19 goals. They have the most yellow cards in this competition with 11. So I'm not sure if that'll bite into how they're going to line up and how their team's structured and the style of play that they use. But a couple of massive things that we're changing for our team. Cade Watts in goal, Williams and Singano at fullback, Harrison and Stamp as the central defensive options. Basically our first choice starting defensive line there. Evans and Hurst sit in front of them as they always are. Taché and Richmond will play at the 10. Harry Honesty on the left wing, who has overtaken Taché and Richmond as our leading scorer so far this season. The two changes that I'm making that are perhaps a little bit controversial is I'm starting Daniel Adjei up top ahead of Dan Brown, and Ryan Adams will play on the right wing ahead of Charlie Morley, mainly because of their performances in this competition. Daniel Adjei has been phenomenal throughout his appearances in the League Cup thus far. I think he's been as much as you could hope for a two-star poacher, backup, striking type player. And Dan Brown has been in decent form recently, and so has Charlie Morley, to be fair. But I think they can both contribute coming off the bench and offering us something there. So those are the two changes I'm making. Time will tell whether I'm going to regret them in the end, but we just have to wait and see how we go. Just got my reflection there, and my tie looked absolutely horrendous. That is not the professionalism we want to bring to a cup final situation. Looking at the Galston team, they've got Lee in goal, Marsden at left back, their captain, Bangura, who looks like an ex-Chelsea junior, at right back. I'm going to say Bangui and pretend the M's silent, and Cotton as their central defensive partnership. Forrest holding midfield. James Uzun, who looks like their star player, will play in front of him, and Rule next to him, who's their leading assist maker. Gosling, their leading scorer, on the right. Sears up top, Stannard on the left wing. They look solid. They look relatively decent, and this will be a great test for us. They're still 5th in the division above, but it'll be a great test for us to see where we're at for future seasons. They are playing a 4-3-3, which traditionally we have performed really well against. Passionately, win this trophy for yourselves, but also the fans. They've been magnificent and deserve success. A lot of players have responded really positively to that, which is great to see. And away we go, our very first cup final, our very first opportunity at silverware in a cup competition. It will be the first into the trophy cabinet. Harry Honesty's picked up a yellow card inside the first minute, which is absolutely insane. Cade Watts now with the goal kick forward. Lee Hurst will challenge and does well to knock a ball down to Evans. He switches out to Harry Honesty, who we were just talking about on the left wing. Can he find a decent ball back inside? Adjei's in the area, as was Adams. It comes out to Taché and Richmond at the top of the box. He takes a good touch to get it out from under his feet and strikes near post, but Lee is the Galston goal is equal to it. Long ball forward now, one back by Marcus Stamp. This highlight just keeps going. It's a long ball forward from Harrison. Daniel Adjei will bring it down and play it out left to Harry Honesty. He puts a deep ball across towards Ryan Adams, and Ryan Adams gets his 10th goal of the season. Totally vindicates us selecting him for this game. Phenomenal ball there from Harry Honesty. Let's check this one out in 3 dimensions. Daniel Adjei brings the ball down really well. Harry Honesty, just a deep one rather than trying to go to the byline. It's got wicked curve on it. Ryan Adams makes a great backstick run and side foots that one home to put us a goal up inside the first 3 minutes. What a start that is. Lee now with the goal kick forward. Taché and Richmond should win the header. Instead, it's Hurst that comes forward and knocks it to Daniel Adjei. He plays the pass out wide, but it's not a good one, and they immediately launch a counter-attack with Sears has gotten in behind here, and thankfully his finish is not equal to the off-the-ball run or the ball played to him. So they're definitely a danger. Williams now with a free kick about 45 yards out. It's played forward, and it looks like that's a foul on the keeper. Williams scores, but he never meant it. It won't count, of course. It says that Tom Williams was offside. I think it was actually Ryan Adams that challenged with the goalkeeper there and maybe blocked his view. Always tricky those ones because the linesman doesn't stay still, so it makes you think just for a second that it might have gone in, but it looked like a foul. Harry Honesty's yellow card is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. We do have Charlie Morley on the bench, but we'll see how much we can get Harry Honesty out there. That ball for the goal was absolutely phenomenal, and that sort of delivery you get out of him consistently. Harry Honesty's picked up a knock now. He's having a torrid time out there this afternoon. Another highlight here, Richmond to take a corner, puts it in towards Harry Honesty, who gets his header away, and I think that one hit the crossbar, or it was an excellent save from Lee in the Galston goal. Harry Honesty's indicating he wants to come off, but I'm going to wait until half-time. He's dropped down 65% condition, which isn't ideal, but hopefully if he has another 15 minutes in him, and hopefully if we make use of this shout and demand more from everyone, it will be a bit of a settler and he can get through this last 15 minutes without doing too much damage to himself. It's an immediate highlight here. Bangura plays the ball forward to Sears. Back inside to Forrest. They do have a man advantage in midfield at the moment, it looks like. Williams with a good tackle, but it falls back to Gosling again. Ricky Evans comes across and makes a phenomenal challenge. Releases Daniel Adjei down the left wing. Finds Taché and Richmond inside. He's got men around him if he slows down. Instead, he strikes from the top of the 18-yard box. And it was pretty much straight down the middle. Lee didn't have a problem with that one. Another highlight immediately. It's one back again by Ricky Evans, who is just winning all sorts of possession back for us. Daniel Adjei's gotten in behind from a long ball forward, and Daniel Adjei, that's where his technique just lets himself down a little bit. tries to absolutely leather that one through and misses on the far side. So through half an hour now, they've got 2 yellow cards. We only have the one to Harry Honesty and that one injury he's carrying. 12 shots on target. 12 shots, 5 on target, and 59% possession. They are yet to have a shot on target and are only at 41% ball possession. So I think they're setting up to play counter-attacking style, which kind of plays into the highlights that we've seen for them thus far. But then also it should hopefully work into our style as well, being a little bit more positive, even though we are set up to do fluid counter-attacks. 2 minutes of extra time to be added on at the end of the first half here. Remains to be seen if we're going to see another highlight. We are through that time now, and I dare say the referee is going to call half-time at any point. Referee brings the first half to a close. So we are a goal up in the first half. I think we passionately say, you've got one hand on the cup, go out there and make sure you can get both hands on it at full time. Most players didn't respond negatively or positively, so assertively, let's tell our defence, I think there's a lot more to come from you. Completely believe you've got what it takes, and that's even worked on Tash and Richmond, which is great to see. We'll also make one change. We'll bring on Charlie Morley for Harry Honesty, just because I'm concerned about pushing him through that injury. And let's assertively tell Charlie Morley, I think there's a lot more to come from him. Oh God, and I've accidentally ruined everybody else's. All right, second half is away here. Are we going to see an immediate highlight? And are there going to be any changes to the way Galston are playing to try and find themselves another goal here? All right, what we might actually do, I've just paused it there, is switch to our cautious mentality. Probably should have done that at half-time, spoken with the players about it. They're going to start chasing and looking for goals. You can already kind of tell. So we might as well make the most of that, sit back a little bit and try and hit them on the counter with fresh legs. Give it to the hour mark and then look at making our other 2 saves, depending on people's match ratings and fitness and whatever else. All right, we're through an hour, so let's have a look at using our last 2 subs. I'm going to take off Lee Hersett for Tekker's Guru, just to get some fresh legs in the middle of the park. And then I think we might also take off Dan Adji for Dan Brown and see if his technical ability and off-the-ball movement can snag us another goal on the counter-attack here. Passionately, I think there's a lot more to come from you two. 2 of the older members of the club, 2 of the original hashtag United players. Actually, I'm not sure if they're both originals, but they've both been around a very long time and deserve their opportunities in this cup final. We haven't seen much from Galston in the second half, though it is only 15 minutes old. Tashan Richmond picks up his 4th yellow card of the season. Hopefully, he's not going to be looking to pick up another one in this game. It's 20 minutes remaining. We're still yet to see any changes from the Galston team. They do have 2 players on yellow cards as well. Now we have one as well, second as well with Farai Singano. They've made 3 subs in the 70th minute. Marsden, Forrest and Gosling all coming off with Dembele, Sanford and Yaxley coming on. I don't think it's that Dembele, but hopefully he is nowhere near as good. All right, we're getting towards 15 minutes remaining, so let's just use a shout and demand more from everybody. Just to keep them focused, just to keep them confident. The body language is already pretty good. Oh God, I've ruined everything. Cade Watts and Williams are both pressured by the feedback. 2 of the older players in the club. Andy Cade Watts is, of course, the captain. You'd want to hope that one doesn't spread to any other players in the team. We're into the last 10 minutes now. The longer you go between highlights in this game, the more nervous you are for when a highlight actually begins. It's absolutely crazy. Our stat line's looking great, though. 19 shots, 7 on target, 57% possession. 4 shots, 1 on target, 43% for Galston, without really having too much of a highlight to speak of from them. They did have that one chance for Sears early on in the game. They've changed their structure here and gone to a 4-3-3 with 3 strikers, which was such a devastating formation in Football Manager 2018. I don't think it's quite carried over to FM19, but we'll see if that change gives any further highlights to the game itself. We're getting towards injury time now. There's going to be 2 minutes to be added on by the referee. We haven't seen a highlight now for about 35 in-game minutes. Are we going to see anything further, any late drama in extra time? We're at the end of the 2 minutes now, and here comes the last highlight. It's a throw-in from Bangura. It's played forward, and the referee calls full time. It is our first trophy as hashtag United. The trophy cabinet is already starting to fill, and we're only up to episode 7, which is absolutely insane. It's so much quicker than I thought any of this stuff would happen. A 1-0 victory, absolutely fantastic performance. Tashan Richmond got player of the match in the end with a 7.4 rating, as he has so many times throughout the season thus far. And let's passionately tell everybody, congratulations boys, enjoy these moments. and they thoroughly deserve their win there. So there it is, our very first trophy in this series goes into the trophy cabinet at Eastern Counties League Cup final, 1-0 victory against Galston, which is a phenomenal result. We are in January, well, we're at the end of January, and next game will actually take place in February. We are still undefeated in the league. It is a phenomenal run of form that we're on. Just one defeat so far this season in FAV's competition. And let's be honest, we're only going to move up other divisions and into high levels of football where it's more difficult to put runs like that together and to win trophies like a League Cup or something like that, because there are so many good teams around us. This may be the best form we're in the entirety of this series, right through to FM20 when it eventually comes out, which is absolutely insane for me to think about. So I'm so thrilled that we were finally able to get something and that we didn't just meander around the lower divisions for years and years without winning anything. So your hashtag United lift the Eastern Counties League Cup. Interestingly, it says, with an occasion that promised so much, the fixture was marred by a succession of fouls by hashtag United. I thought we were the better team. We had 19 shots to their 5, so I'm not sure what they're complaining about. It's called out here, the pivotal match, our 4-0 win against Wivenhoe Town, who are currently sitting around second in the league. Theo Baker was fantastic in that game. They do call back to our FAV's knockout by Liver's Edge in September, but at least we've kind of turned that one around and managed to get a decent result here. Harry Honesty's out for a couple of days, so that's not too bad. Post-match press conference. We have had so few press conferences this season. It's been awesome. We had to earn our success. We're now the team to beat. Thoroughly delighted with the result. Magnificent achievement for everybody at the club. And Tashan Richmond, best player on the pitch, had a fantastic game. Andy, as our captain, is absolutely thrilled with the result. And you won't expect to see too many press conferences, but given that we've won a trophy, we're definitely going to put that one in there. 1.2k for winning against Galston in the the Eastern Counties League Cup final. Getting all tongue twisted. My nerves have overtaken me. The board's happy, Spencer's happy, Seb's happy, LP's happy. And for all our success in that competition, Lucas Mann was actually the leading goal scorer in that comp, as Charlie Morley got the most assists with 4 to his name. Oh, what a result, what a performance, what a massive weight off my shoulders to get that first trophy in the books. Absolutely phenomenal. It does look at the moment like we're probably going to win the league as well, which is fantastic. I don't want to talk too early, but it does leave us with about 14 fixtures remaining to secure that league title. So what we're going to do for those remaining 14 fixtures, we're going to probably look at developing some of our own players, bringing in the guys that have the highest potential, playing them for those 14 games, trying to get them a bit of a boost. I'm not too worried about trying to get through the season undefeated or anything like that. That stuff will come in the future, and that'll be priorities when we're eventually in the English Premier League or something to that effect. But for right now, I want to focus on bringing through the next lot. We've got a lot of older players, the likes of Jamie Jackson, Jack Harrison, Dan Brown, Tom Williams, who probably aren't going to be playing too much further beyond this season or next. So I'm so happy that we are actually able to get a trophy with those players involved so that they can continue to build their legacy and become legends at the club itself. Actually, that's an interesting note. We should have a look at that. At the moment, the only legend at the club is Spencer, of course, the chairman. If we win the league this season, it'll be super interesting to see who moves into favoured personnel and icons. But a fantastic result. I think for the next episode, we're going to come back and probably do 2 games at the end of... Actually, we'll do this one in the middle. We'll do Lopez Tavares because they're currently in second. We did draw 2-2 with them earlier on in the season. They are a good side. So we'll play that game and probably the Burnham Ramblers game. They are currently in 15th. See if we can continue our undefeated run. See if we can integrate some more players into this structure. Continue their development as well. And that'll be the next episode for February. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your continued support. It really does mean a tremendous amount to me. Feel free to chuck a like on the video to celebrate our first trophy of the series. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos, or you can follow @InTheMixer_FM on Twitter. There's links to a bunch of our different key collaborators in the description below. Please go and check them out and give them your support, as well as the hashtag United original channel. As always though, I have been Sean. I'll see you guys in the mixer, and don't forget to hashtag it.